now invite to the stage Laura, Caleb, Karina, and MK. Come on down. All right. Well, to start, can each of you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your business? We can start with you, Laura.
My name is Laura Ainsworth. I'm a 2008 graduate of communication school. I don't think it was called Moody Communication School at the time. Is that even what it's called these days? Anyways, my business is Texan Christmas. We are about a year old, and we do collectible Christmas ornaments that have a luxury Texas theme. And in addition to doing just 12 kind of unique designs a year, we also do fun collaborations as well as custom ornaments.
Hello, my name is Karina Perez. I am a junior in the College of Fine Arts, and my business is Sea Sunshine Designs. What I do is I design floral paintings and put them on sustainable products like tote bags, pillows, a bunch of other items, and I'm hoping to expand.
Hello everyone, my name is Caleb Bledsoe. I'm the owner and founder of NightTight Bedding. My company is basically, we designed an adjustable fitted bed sheet. And so there's an elastic band within the perimeter of the sheet, and you use it to tighten to your size, any size mattress really, so it's a universal sheet. So check us out, we're at nighttightbedding.com.
Hi everyone, my name's MK. I am a current MBA student here at McCombs. I'm class of 25, so the second year. And my company is Early Bird Hard Lemonade. We are a alcoholic beverage, hard lemonade specifically, that prevents hangovers.
Well, thank you all. So I want to hear from each of you. How did you come up with the idea for your business? Do you want to kick us off on this?
Sure. So for me, and I'm working with two other co-founders, it was really born out of a personal need, and I think that is something that maybe resonates with my other founders here on the stage. But really, it's something that's very relatable and something that I could use in my own life, and I know my co-founder's girlfriend at the time could really use it in her own life, and that's really how it got started. It was just something that we could use in our own lives that we made, and now we're commercializing.
Yes, I agree with that. My product was birthed out of like a personal need and necessity. Essentially, I'm a student here at UT Austin, and I lived in West Campus, and one of my apartments that I had, it was furnished, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the mattresses they use, they're kind of slippery, and so every time like I would sleep, like my sheets would pop up off the side, so I decided to create something to mitigate that issue, and I realized that there was a patent that was expiring for that product, and I was like, oh wow, let me jump in right now and hurry up and secure this patent for myself, for my business, and from there it kind of just grew, so yeah, that's how it happened.
As for me, I've always been a really visual person. I love design, fashion, colors, and I loved shopping for fun designed products, but something that's really been on the forefront of my mind has been sustainability, and I thought there was really a niche for a market of sustainable products that look pretty.
And then I think at least there was a personal experience or a personal problem that I was trying to solve that turned into a business. So my mother-in-law owns an interior design and furniture company, and it's in a little bit of a touristy Texas town, and we went down the path of thinking about doing some fun Texas ornaments, custom ornaments, because people like to come to towns and collect ornaments. And when we started looking into it, everything Texan was very rustic, only red, white, and blue, a little bit country, and it wasn't really appropriate for kind of an interior design level store. So I kind of took it upon myself to create a line of Texas themed ornaments that were a little bit more high end, a little more luxury, and might have a modern edge to them that would be more appropriate for stores that do more kind of high end gifts and interior design.
Oh, I hadn't heard that yet. That's so cool. Okay, this one's for Caleb and Karina. What strategies did you use to identify and refine a concept before deciding it's worth pursuing as a product?
Well, in kind of identifying a concept, I kind of looked at other companies and saw what they did well and what they were lacking, and how my individuality and unique designs could kind of could kind of not upstage them, but take them to a higher place.
Can you repeat the question?
Of course. What strategies did you use to identify and refine the concept before deciding it's worth pursuing as a product?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it was a personal problem that I had with my sheets at my apartment, and so essentially I identified a problem and tried to create a solution, and then from there, I went through the whole process of doing research to see what other companies offer a similar product. There was no specific brand that offered something that was basically the same concept or the idea that I had, and so I knew that I had something that could, it had market potential essentially, so that's how I landed on my idea.
Okay, and then this is for each of you. Can you share a key moment when you realized your idea had market potential?
For me, I don't know that this is the best way for everybody, but I really didn't take on a lot of opinions or advice along the way until my product was ready for market. That can be good and bad, but I was lucky enough that whenever I launched it, so I sell to stores across the state, so I go to wholesale markets. If any of you are familiar with Dallas Market Center, I set up a booth there in January market last year, and it was kind of an immediate reaction when everybody saw it that was the right customer. I got gasped. It was like, oh, what are those? Those are so cute. Oh my God, look at these. And people just kind of flooded over and so at that point I was like, okay, I'm on to something here. And it was really validating for something that I did the whole product development process without getting any feedback, that it was good to get it out there and see everybody's reaction.
Let's see, the Karina process at first was really kind of kitschy and scrappy, and I was hauling flowers from different stores and selling bouquets to get attention to what I was selling, because everyone loves flowers, they're colorful, and then I would also have my products with that as an accompaniment. What I did is I just started tabling here at UT. I wasn't really sure if I was allowed to do that, so don't tell anyone. So yeah, just kind of getting feedback from there, people coming up to my table. Every now and again, someone would come up twice and say, I really love this card that I bought from you. Actually this one person told me that they got into a relationship from it. And I was like, wow, people really like this. So yeah.
Yeah, for me, when I did my market research just to see if there were any other brands that offered the same product as me, once I realized that no one was offering the same product, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and pursue this idea fully. I basically bought a used sewing machine. I taught myself how to sew on YouTube. I created my own first prototype, and then I found a seamstress. And so I realized, that no one was really doing this idea, and I had something that was really unique that other people weren't offering in the market. And so that was my motivator, that was my inspiration to drive me to pursue this idea.
I'm really going to echo a lot of what everyone else has said, but two particular points. One, I think, is the believing in the product yourself and being inundated with positive feedback from anyone that I speak about my product with before they even try it, I think is really powerful. And that was definitely a moment where I was like, okay, this thing has legs, and there's clearly a market of people that are willing to try it and have experienced hangovers and don't like it. But I think that's kind of resonating with what Laura was saying. And then I think, to your point, Caleb, knowing that it's unique and doing a lot of competitive research and seeing that there really isn't another beverage that has this anti-hangover property in it. There are pills that you can take to prevent hangovers. There are, liquids and other powders that you can take, but there are no other alcoholic beverages that prevent hangovers in the same way. And so knowing that and then hearing the market validation that this thing could actually sell and people will buy it, I think that's a winning combination, and that's how it was for us.
I would pass this right back to you because this question's for you, Karina. What resources, mentors, incubators, platforms were most instrumental in moving your product from concept to market?
Well, as you know, KSWELI is extremely valuable with all of the connections, all of the people you meet through here. Take the time to see them outside of KSWELI. A lot of resources here at UT, I think, go underrated, especially for entrepreneurship. Austin, as a city, has so many resources, events you can go to meet people interested in the same thing as you. I know KSWELI, UT Launchpad has been very helpful, the Harkey Institute, and the community here in Austin and in UT for entrepreneurship just keeps on growing. So explore that if you're interested in entrepreneurship and starting your own business.
Would definitely +1 on a lot of those resources that you mentioned, Karina. UT Launchpad has been instrumental for me as well, and then just everything else in the UT ecosystem.
All right, this one's for you, MK. How has your product evolved from the initial concept to what it is today, and what factors drove those changes?
Sure. So I have our product here. This one is just a sample for show. But I guess to answer that question about how it's evolved is really more so how our marketing of it has evolved, because the product is a product. And so it's familiar to me. Most of my immediate network is in that demographic as well. And so I have easy access to it. And what we learned was that demographic is very open to trying new things, is very wellness minded, and is very conscious of not being not productive due to a hangover. And so all of that to say is it was really the marketing and how we were positioning our product that evolved, as opposed to the actual composition of the product itself.
I can't wait to try it. Okay, so this one's for you, Laura, and then back to you, MK. So what was a key failure or setback during the process of transforming your idea into a product, and how did you recover from it? Want to go first?
Sure. For me, probably one of the bigger failures was in the process of actually finding manufacturers. I spent a lot of money with a lot of different manufacturers to find the right one. I think part of that is because I didn't use a network that I really had, that I think probably could have done some bedding for me, but I didn't have the humility, I think, to go forward and say, I can't figure this out on my own. So I think I wasted some time. So I think if I can have any advice going forward, it's know the areas where you have knowledge gap, skills gap. Don't feel bad about going out and seeking the help for those things, because I think I could have avoided a lot of spent money and time and effort of getting some kind of direct feedback on manufacturing, other than me going out and sampling a bunch of different ones on my own.
Agree with a lot of those points. I think for us, we're just coming out of a setback actually currently, and it was with navigating the Texas Alcohol and Beverage Commission regulations. And for as many breweries and beverage companies as we have in Texas and in Austin specifically, you would not believe how complicated and how much red tape there is in getting to be a legal, licensed brewer. And so for us, the only way out was through, and we tried sort of, hiring someone to help guide us through the process that allegedly knew what the process entailed, and that turned out to be a little bit of a mistake. And so the only way out was through. We just needed to sit down, do the research, put the time in, and learn it ourselves in order to successfully navigate it. So we're now coming out of that, and all signs are go at this point going forward.
So Karina and Laura, for the two more artistic founders up here, how do you balance creativity and practicality during the product creation process?
Well, for me and my business, creativity really is practicality. I can only expand my business if it is creative and if I'm driving through and with creativity. So I feel like there's no disconnect between creativity and functionality. It's more of being creative first and then figuring out how I'm going to market that and how I'm going to apply that to my business.
So for me, I'd like to think I'm more of the creative side, but I'll speak to a little bit just filling in kind of the knowledge gaps, like I spoke to before, and you have to go through manufacturing. So there's limitations. My ornaments are made of glass. You can only blow glass so big, you can only make it so thin. So an example is we have a cowboy Santa, and he has a cowboy hat. I wanted him to have this massive, wonderful cowboy hat, that was beautiful, and come to find out that's not practical in manufacturing. There are even areas you have to find ways to hide the hole where the straw goes in, where they blow through the glass. So we had to be creative in the way we made the design so that we could make sure that the seams of where you put the straw isn't there. And so one of the things that was good, that I was humble upon, is that I come from a watch background. I know manufacturing. I've been in the watch world for a long time. I worked for Fossil Group for 12 years. But I knew that I didn't know anything about how to make a glass ornament. So I just went to LinkedIn. I did some LinkedIn stalking. I found somebody that had worked at an ornament company in the past and reached out. And sure enough, he actually responded. We got a call. He liked what I was doing, agreed to help. And so he was really instrumental in being kind of that in between to say, okay, here's your creative idea, but here's the reality of manufacturing, and here's what we can do to do that. And the only other thing I will say is that sometimes you're told no, and no, that's not the way we do it, and you can't do it that way. Don't always take that answer. I will say there were a couple instances where, I was like, well, this is the way we do it in the watch world, and why can't we do that in this industry? And I was told no, and had to kind of challenge people to think a little bit more creatively to do some of the things that we wanted to do. So it's great to have that knowledge, but I also would encourage you to challenge the status quo sometimes, because that can get you to a new place.
I love that you just reached out to people on LinkedIn. When I first launched my journal business, I didn't know anything about the printing industry, the paper industry, and I just started cold emailing printers, and that's just how you start. All right, this is for the four of you. I want to know what's next for your company, and how are you planning to continue evolving each of your product lines?
So what's next for my business? My hope is to gain more visibility for my business, to create more brand awareness. I would hope that my business becomes a household name within the next year or so. And as far as expanding my product line, at this moment we only offer sheets for twin through king. But my hope down the line is that we could offer for California king, for crib and infant sheets and stuff like that, so we can expand it into different markets and for different bed sizes.
So for me, I have basically a year to grow early bird as much as I can. I was telling Caleb before this, I just am about to sign with a company for consulting after my MBA, and the start date will be September 1st. So my plan is between now and then, if I can negotiate some relationships with distributors, get early bird to be available in HEBs across Texas, in Total Wine, in, you name X liquor store or store where you could buy seltzers. If we are available in any one of those places, I will call that a success. And so I will be doing whatever it takes between now and then to make that a reality. And then come, next fall, I'm gonna kind of hand back over the reins to my co-founders, and hopefully Early Bird will be the next White Claw. I don't know. Let's see.
We're very polite here. So what's next for Sea Sunshine Designs is, actually I'm very excited because I just received a grant to launch some new products. I am really hoping to partner with a company called Acute Root to sell these plantable seed paper cards. I have them designed, and now I have the means for it to be a go, so I'm extremely excited about that. And also some merch for the spring, for the Lucky Lab that I can't specify. And I'm very excited to work with them. They're another female-founded group. So if you're gonna go to a coffee shop, go to the Lucky Lab. And also just keeping up with website, doing some marketing. I'm kind of learning about that as I go with marketing and kind of what people want to see. And yeah, I'm just very excited about everything. Thank you.
So for Texan Christmas, we're in our first selling season, so it's a really exciting time. Obviously, with Christmas coming up, it's a really busy time for us. The way that the business model as of today is working is we're really focusing on doing kind of 12 unique designs every year. We make them limited and try to give everybody a little bit of sense that we're going to see. It's something you want to collect this year. Next year, it's going to be completely different. So we've already worked on our designs for next year, just passed them off to the factory this past week. So that's really exciting. As we go to market again in January to start selling, it's crazy. We have to sell Christmas almost a year in advance. So we get done in December and we're selling next year's Christmas this next month. So that's exciting. And then we're really working on doing more collaborations. We just did a collaboration with a boot brand that went really well. We sold out in like 5 minutes. So we're looking at doing other brand collaborations next year and have some exciting ones lined up, as well as expanding what we do for custom ornaments. So we take some of our molds and we can do things for museums or schools. We could do collegiate. Like there's all these types of avenues that we can do different things in the custom world as well. And then additionally, looking at expanding what the product assortment looks like too. So we are an ornament company only right now, but I'm envisioning, we're working on a new line of nutcrackers for next year. There's your secret insight. Doing some fun Halloween nutcrackers. So finding other ways that we can take sort of traditional Christmas items and make them kind of modern and Texan and fun.
Can I have the mic for a second? Sure. All right, Laura's partnership with Petite Paloma is amazing. Please check it out. She was understating it.
You're very sweet, thank you.
All right, and this is the last question that I have before we open it up for Q&A with the audience. Building a product requires ongoing effort and commitment. What advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs looking to transform their ideas into products? Want to pick this off, Kayla?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. What advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs looking to transform their ideas into products?
I would say never give up, you guys. Never give up. No matter how hard it is, no matter how long it takes, keep going. Don't discount yourself or discredit yourself. Don't lose hope. Make sure you keep going. And yeah, that's it.
I would say continue being curious, and I also just realized that this microphone has not been on this whole time, so apologies. But yeah, continue being curious, continue learning. I'm sure I remember attending panels like this when I was in y'all's shoes and thinking about how long the road would be to get from, gosh, I'm sitting here, maybe I want to be an entrepreneur one day, but I don't really know what that looks like, to then now me sitting up here and talking to you guys. It's a really kind of surreal experience, but I would not have gotten to this point if I didn't sort of take a leap of faith and continue learning and continue being curious and open-minded. And so I would say those three qualities are common in entrepreneurs and should be qualities that you all have. And just by being here today, you're already demonstrating.
I would say, I mean, tenacity, I think, is like the number one thing, is you just gotta keep on going, but at the same time, be willing to pivot. I will tell y'all that I have at least 4 like really formal business plans buttoned up that are completely unrelated. I had a clear handbag one, probably should have stuck with that one, those are all over the place these days, that was like 15 years ago, and maybe I should have done that one. Have a RV park, completely unrelated. A private pool, all kinds of things. So my life has taken lots of different turns to get me to where I am today. I never, ever, when I graduated, would have thought I was going to make an ornament company. I thought I was going to do 1,000 other things since. So keep going, but don't be afraid to pivot. You never know what road's going to lead you to a different corner that you never would have ever thought was there. So just staying open-minded and being willing to change if it makes sense.
I guess mine would be putting in the work towards your dreams and to your ideas, putting in the effort to make them a reality really helps. It's great, I love ideas, but they require a lot of effort, a lot of time, and I'm not discrediting going for your idea at all. Definitely go towards them, but know that you have to put in the time and effort to do them. And the payoff is very rewarding. Just actualizing your dreams is rewarding.
All right, well, now we'll open it up for Q&A. Does anyone have any questions for these 4? Yeah.
So what was something that, like a cost that you didn't think of when coming up with your business that you wish you had thought of?
What was a cost when coming up with your business that you wish you thought of? That you can think
I
of?
can tell you a really big one I had was if you do any manufacturing overseas, you get these wonderful quotes from factories that sound really low and that it's going to be amazing, but then you have to pay all of the tariffs and everything else to get them here. I will tell you mine ended up being about half the cost of what my product cost. I had to pay that much more just to get it here. So that one was fun. So I try to tell everybody that I can that if you are going to do any kind of manufacturing that's not domestic, make sure you are prepared and have knowledge of what it's going to take to actually get it here. Not cheap.
I would say it's all of the little things in promoting your business, like tags, business cards. I used to have these little sticks that went into bouquets to put my tag on them. All of these little things, they add up, and they were really unexpected, but I love them. I made them cutesy like my business. But yeah, just kind of think of everything.
I actually think it's kind of hard to think of everything because owning a business is like a newborn baby. All types of costs arise. Like you never know what's going to happen. Something I could piggyback off of what Laura said about like manufacturing. My product is made in China, and so it's very expensive to get it from China to America. And other things such as like advertising. I advertise a lot on social media. That stuff really adds up. And hiring like a seamstress, hiring a logo designer, paying for patent attorneys and things of that nature. There are things that like really add up. So just if you're really committed to your idea, it's worth it in the end. So.
Echoing what y'all 3 have said, but I'll just add maybe in other words, the trade-off between if you're gonna do something, and I turned it off again. Sure did. Maybe. Okay. I need to stop turning it off. Okay. I was gonna say the trade-off between if you're gonna do something yourself, it's gonna cost time to learn it, to understand how to do it, to actually do it. Or if you hire someone, it's gonna cost money to hire that person to do whatever it is that you want them to do for you. So I would just kind of highlight that trade-off. And if you're not paying money, you're gonna be paying in time.
All right, I saw a few more hands in the audience.
Can we see like comments?
If you'd like, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I kind of have a comment for each of y'all. Laura, I really like your product. I think there's so much growth potential. Like as you were just talking, I was thinking, oh my gosh, she could like partner with James Avery and make charms because they're lacking in the Christmas environment. Or you could like, there's so much you could do. Like I love jewelry, and I would just love to have like these cute Christmas things that aren't kind of like cheesy, but more like luxury. And I really like that about your product. And then Karina.
And just got partnership.
Yeah.
Someone say that?
Yeah. Karina? It's Karina. Karina, I really like how, like you said, what's it called? Like, somebody came up and said, I think I got into a relationship because of you. Yeah. And I was like, that's so cute. And I think your product has, like, a lot of love and, like, a personal touch. And that's really nice. And then Caleb, yours is, like, so original. Like, I know, like, in the dorms, you know, we have, like, twin beds. But then you go to an apartment, and then it's it's full XL, and I've never heard of those sheets before. Like, you come here and it's very different, and I think like as a college student, just being able to have one bed sheet, because right now I have a friend who is like, he used the same sheets and it's like half off of the mattress, and it looks terrible. I'm like, you need to get new sheets. But I think like yours is like very helpful for like college students, and it's very original. And then Marion?
Yeah, you can call me MK or Mary.
MK? Okay, yeah. Yours is so creative. I didn't even think that was possible to have like hangover-free alcohol. But like, you know, like as a college student, you know, you see all these frat boys going to the games, and they're like, they have their beer and everything. I'm like, I know you guys have been drinking since the last day, and like you have to be hungover, like all the ibuprofen and everything, and like, you know, liquid IV, and like you just like cut that all out and you make it like so much simpler, and that's really good. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
I have a lot of thoughts. Y'all were like just throwing things at me.
What's your name?
McKenna. Yeah.
Is there anybody else? Yeah.
From a financial perspective, were you surprised like how long it took to break even if you have broken even? And how much of your own money were you putting in? If you don't mind sharing, it could be round numbers, but I'm just curious, like how much you have to put into get your business to the point where you're like, oh, I made it.
I'll let you know in like 2 months if I end up getting to break even, but I hope so. But my financial investment was either mostly my own money, and I did get just a traditional bank loan to buy my inventory. So I had to work hard on getting that because it's a new business and trying to prove that, you know, I ended up going to a local bank that was close by, that kind of knew me, and that's been advice I've gotten over and over again. It's like, don't try to go to the big banks, try to make friends with an actual banker, get them to like know you personally. I walked in with my ornaments into the bank and like made them know me and like me. That was my goal, and so that's really how I went about getting the loan piece of that. So that's one piece. If you ever do traditional loan, you're not getting funding or anything like that, go make friends with a banker in person in real life.
I feel like mine again is utilizing those UT resources because, as you know, I'm a college student, so I'm investing some of my own money into my own business, but I only make so much. You know, I have to work part-time. So yeah, pitching, applying for grants and funds has been really integral, and I do what I can.
Yes, I'll just echo that as well. Everything that I've achieved with my business has been through my own funding. I work for all of my investments in terms of for my company. So yeah, I haven't broken even just yet. So as you mentioned earlier, like in a year or so, we'll circle back to that question.
Got it this time. I think it turns off every time I think that's the issue. I think maybe the battery's low. I'll just top that. You want me to
Yeah,
use it?
we can test
I don't have anything that important to share, but bootstrapping. My co-founder and I have we have a third co-founder actually as well, and we've all got 6, 7, 8 years of work experience, and so this is a product that we all believe in and one that we're willing to put funds into, and hopefully it'll pay off. But we'll see. Again, ask me in a year or two.
I feel like I saw a couple more hands, yeah.
So, like, you had this idea, and like specifically like with you, Caleb, like it came out of because like of a problem in college, and like how did you even like think that this could turn into like a business? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, so I was actually in my apartment, and as I mentioned, like I was just having issues with my sheets, and so I was very just like excited about the idea. So I went on to Google Patents and just like did a bunch of research on like what patents existed for this product or this idea. And when I found that there wasn't really anything that was like solidified, literally that night I started reaching out to patent attorneys just to see if someone would be interested in working with me. And they said, you know, you might want to consider starting off small, speak with someone who can help sketch out your idea and get it from just an idea to at least on paper, and then that way we can kind of put it into words. And so I did all my research. I have a friend who is an architecture major, and he's familiar with CAD, so he helped me build like my blueprint for my idea. And then from there I was able to take it to my patent attorney, and she kind of turned it into words. And so yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
Hi, yes. For those of you that have worked with distributors or like merchants, how did you handle those conversations at first? I feel like there's kind of like a lack of, first of all, finding them, and second of all, how do you like communicate with people? So I'd love to hear.
We are sort of in the midst of that process right now, and so I think this kind of tags on to what Caleb was just talking about, but relying on personal connections and connections of connections, and it could even be like 3rd or 4th degree connections, but like that's the way to, if you're not gonna sort of cold email or cold reach out, which is also great, if you have some sort of touch point or connection that can introduce you, I feel like that's a great way into the relationship, and then from there, I'm a big fan of just building relationships on trust and a personal connection once you get introduced, and then establishing that as the relationship going forward. And you know, if you're nice to work with, people are going to want to work with you back, and I'm a big believer in that. Sometimes it's a little high in the sky, but you know, that's my philosophy.
So for Texan Christmas, we do wholesale business, so not necessarily distributors, but we're selling to retailers and merchants. And the biggest way for me to do that was to find established markets. So there is huge wholesale markets. There's one in Dallas, there's one in Atlanta. Las Vegas has a big one, so some of them are a little bit more focused on other things. Some might be more furniture decor focused, some might be more like clothing, jewelry, some might be more gift focused. So you find the best ones for me. Since I'm a Texas brand, it's a Texas thing, it really only makes sense for me to go to the Texas markets. So that's where I started. So if you get your foot in the door at one of those, all the buyers for all the stores come through those markets. I had to really like be in the back corner, my Ford First Market. Hard to find. I was by some like really weird Christmas lights that did not vibe with my product at all. But I also did a lot of like work ahead of time. So you kind of spoke to the cold calling. I went through and identified every single store that I wanted my product to be in. I kind of picked every major market, decided which store was the best fit. Did more like random stalking. I found out apparently on Facebook, a lot of times people have to put an email address. So there's a little insight. I found people's email addresses. So I would do like cute postcards, send them to the stores. I would send emails, say, hey, I'm gonna be at this market, we're a new vendor, come see me, as like a little invitation. So I actually had quite a few that would just come by the booth that had gotten some communication of me beforehand. So that was good. That was just like, you know, general old hustle to get people to come to the booth and see me. And then once I was there for one market, I made sure to make friends with the people who pick your booth spaces and make sure they got to know me in person. And then the next time I got accepted into what they call high style. So it was a better area, more buyers came by, and it was great. And actually just got news that I got like now I'm like the best spot for next market, which is really, really exciting. But yeah, I kind of had to start from, I had to be in the back corner stuck in with some weird product the first time, but gradually kind of made my way out of it. And like I said, it was some just good old hustle. Got some customers actually come back and see me in the weird corner.
I think I still have a few more questions, yeah.
What was the process, or how did you guys develop your brand identity from like logo to name to like how you guys market yourselves out?
I can start with this one. For me, I think I got incredibly lucky being an art major and like my business being very creative. I wear a lot of hats, just like in school, my business, I have a job. So just kind of learning all of these skills. I do my own logo design, I do my own marketing, do my own emails with people, designing, because that's my thing. So I guess take time to learn the skills, and that'll reduce like some of those costs, like logo making, like, I don't know, all these sort of overhead things.
So I think that where the branding ideas can come from anywhere. I actually met with my mentor today and it came up because I was talking about how my brand name came to be. It was literally because I went out on GoDaddy and I was doing like URL searches, and Texting Christmas was available as a URL and I couldn't believe it. And it was like $7 and I snagged it, and that's how the brand name came to be. And then I turned it into the brand that it is. But that was really the impetus of how the name came apart. It was the URL that was available, and the Instagram handle was available, and like all the handles were available. I thought it was a miracle, and the brand came to be because of that. So it can come from anywhere.
I'm gonna put my founder hat on for a second and take off my founder program coordinator hat. So I have a business. I created a journal called the Me is Me Journal, and it's a guided workbook to reconnect with yourself. Good for anyone who feels stuck, who's in a transition, who just needs some clarity. And for me, I hired someone to help me design the journal and design the logo, and based on those colors, I use that to build the website. And now, 3.5 years in, I actually hired someone to build me a new logo, a full-on website that wasn't just a free Shopify template. But it didn't look so bad. But now it looks 100 times better. But I actually hired someone to help me come up with my brand identity. And when we were going through that process, we really started with Pinterest and figuring out what kind of brand vibe I wanted the brand to have. And she asked me some really clear questions about how I wanted the customer to feel when they landed on my website. And for me, I'm creating a brand that is trying to be a safe space and a comforting space and something that feels really warm and inviting. And so she helped me bring that to life through my website. So I would say if you're thinking about branding at all, start with Pinterest and start with what inspires you. And just start kind of like collecting from there. Also, Canva is an amazing resource.
Yes.
All right, I think I saw another question in the back. Yeah.
This one's for MJ. My question, you mentioned your co-founders. How do you think that's like brought an advantage to your business? And like if any, like how has that brought difficulties? Like having multiple persons?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been so great because I feel like I've got just someone to bounce ideas off of and work on things together. And my co-founders are really close friends of mine, and so it's been nice to just hang out and work on making a drink together. But no, I think overall it's just been so much fun because I think this entrepreneurship process can be a little bit like overwhelming, a little bit frustrating, a little bit discouraging at times, but when you get back to, why you're doing it in the first place and what inspires you, what motivates you, if you can surround yourself with people that also inspire and motivate you, that's just gonna make the whole thing that much more fun. And I think that applies to co-founders, applies to mentors, applies to, even your customers, if that's a source of inspiration. And then down the line, if it gets beyond just, you and your co-founders, and you're hiring a director of sales or a director of, business development, whatever the case may be, keeping those initial values in mind and those initial feelings, I think, is a really good guiding principle. There haven't been any challenges. I know, there may be at some point in time, but so far there haven't been.
For all of you guys, I don't know if you guys have like had interactions with attorneys. I'm really interested in that. I want to be a patent and intellectual property attorney. How has that interaction like helped your business or like made it worse, or how has that cost? I know they can be really expensive. How has that like affected your company? And just like I just want to know like your experiences with attorneys.
So you don't want to kick us off. Okay.
Yes, so my idea is actually an intellectual property idea, so I had to hire a patent attorney just because I don't want to steal the idea and put it on the market. So I actually found my patent attorney through a platform called Thumbtack. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it before, but essentially I found her through there. We communicated, we had a one-on-one, and then I basically talked to her about what my concept was and what I wanted her to help me with in terms of like securing the idea, making sure that no one else had the idea and it wasn't already patented, basically. So she helped me to understand how to differentiate myself from other companies and how to word my patent so that it wouldn't infringe upon others. And so it was very beneficial having her insight, her feedback, her input, because it helped me to refine my idea, to refine the logistics of how the product is created and everything like that.
I can add something. I feel like each of us probably needs or uses attorneys in different ways, and you were just describing that, but I feel like one thing that we all have in common is probably contracts and the ability to like read a contract, whether it's with a supplier, with a distributor, with a manufacturer, whoever it may be with. And for that, I say rely on friends that you have that are lawyers that are willing to give you a little ounce of their time or at least their knowledge about reading contracts. And for me, I don't know much about reading contracts, and my husband is in law school, and so he has taken a lot of contracts classes, and so I'm like, hey, can you look at this? And you know, in this case, it's someone in my own home, but I think I've heard this from a lot of founders where they say, yeah, like my friend's hourly rate is unbelievably high, and I'm not willing to pay that, and so they were able to just, you know, glance over something for 30 minutes. And I feel like it's the same if you're doing anything, whether it's for your business or not. If you're trying to sign a rent, like a lease agreement, if you're living somewhere, if you're signing anything, like, you know, we all accept and, you know, agree to terms that we probably don't really fully read all the time. And I think it's just useful to have someone in your corner that you can kind of just say, you know, hey, like, is this legit? Like, does this check out? Granted, like, there are cases where you need to go a little deeper and actually hire someone, but I think there's a lot of attorneys out there that are willing to be pretty generous with their time.
It's definitely like okay to learn as you go.
This isn't working.
That's okay.
It's not just
Wrong one.
Cool. It's definitely okay to learn as you go. That's what I've been doing, like with contracts, like she mentioned. I don't know, there was this one time I sold products to the Blanton Museum gift store. They're still there if you want to check them out. But I had sold them, I got the money for my products, and the woman who was in charge of buying, she was like, great, just send over that W-9 form. And I had no idea what a W-9 form was. And so I was like, oh yes, fantastic, I'll send that to you by the end of the day. And so I walked out of the building and I called my mentor and I was like, what is a W-9 form? And how can I get one? How do I send one? Do I sign it? So I just like have people in your corner that you feel like you can ask.
All right, we have time for one more question before we wrap up. Yeah.
No one else has one? You guys wear so many different hats individually. I'd love to hear what is one hat you'd like to kick off, or like one section that you really appreciate more help with.
For me, it's an easy answer. I wish I would never have to deal with taxes, finances, accounting, any of that kind of thing. I actually did minor in that in college, but it still doesn't mean I want anything to do with it. So if there was anything I could hand off, that would be it. And I'm thinking, I've been kind of actually researching recently how I can find a company to take that part of it, because that is, I think I said it earlier, I know when I have gaps, and that is definitely one of the gaps. And right now I have to do like my first sales tax form, and I don't know what I'm doing, so I give up. But yeah, I wish I could get rid of that part.
Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what is one thing about your business that you appreciate more help with?
Oh dear. Caleb, I bet you have a great answer.
I think what I was gonna say actually is that I'd rather just own my business and not have to operate it. I would love to be able to hire a team to help, take some of the burden off of myself and just kind of delegate different tasks to other people, like social media, campaign manager, everything like that. So it would be great, to have a team to help me kind of delegate tasks and things of that nature.
You ready to go? Or you want me to go?
You go first.
Okay, you can close this down. I would say the social media marketing piece, it sounds kind of strange coming from me because I prior to my MBA, I was working in marketing, is one of the things I was doing, and my dog's Instagram has blown up, and so I like doing that sort of thing for just personal, I guess, reasons, but when it's tied to this business, it, for whatever reason, just feels really overwhelming, and I would love to kind of outsource that to someone. And it's especially the part now that we're in, just Early Bird's Instagram, I mean, unless y'all go out and follow it, but it doesn't have that many followers right now. And so getting from where it is right now to however many thousands I would like to have, that part feels like something I would love help with.
I love doing it all, and I feel like I could use help with determining where to apply my time and what really needs to be worked on first, so that way I'm not doing everything everywhere all at once. So yeah, I guess just time management.
All right, well, we will wrap up there. Before you leave, make sure that you check in with Kana if you haven't yet. And then do you guys want to do a quick shout out with your social media where everyone can find you? Sure, TexanChristmas.com is how you can shop, or on Instagram, we are at TexanChristmas, that's where we're most active. We technically have a Facebook and a TikTok, but that's not where we do most of our activities. So if you're looking for one place, I would say find us on Instagram. Christmas.
I also have a website at seesunshinedesigns.com to shop. Most of my products are in stores, so I do wholesale. For Instagram, it's also See Sunshine Designs.
Yes, you can find my business at NightTightBedding.com. That's our website. And then we have Instagram as well as TikTok at NightTightTM. That's the handle.
We are Early Bird DHM on Instagram. Again, that's Early Bird DHM.